Hi guys, welcome back to Trimmings by WC. In today's video, I'll be showing you how I created the template for this designer-inspired card in Cricut Design Space. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. Let's get started. Okay guys, I'm already signed into my Cricut Design Space on my laptop. I'm going to select New Project. The first thing I want to do is to work on the flap of the purse. So I'm going to go to Shapes. First, I'm going to select the rectangle with rounded corners. I'm going back into Shapes. I'm going to scroll down to the shapes that are actually only included if you have a subscription to Cricut Access. I'm not sure if without a subscription if you're able to purchase these individually, but in order to use this specific shape, you are going to need Cricut Access, I believe. So let me select that, and this one here is the banner pennant. Okay, I want to separate them because I'm going to resize them. First, let's start with the rectangle. Now, I don't want to use the arrow to size them just because I know exactly what measurements that I would like this to be. So I'm going to go up here to size. I'm going to select that lock to unlock the dimensions. I'm going to change them by typing the dimensions that I would like on my keyboard. So I want my width to be 7 inches. I want my height to be 3 inches. I'm going to do the same for my banner pennant. Okay, now before we move on, let's go ahead and save our project, because if we don't do that, then we might lose everything if something unfortunate occurs. So let's enter a title. We'll make this Gucci Template 1. I'm going to go ahead and select one of my available collections already. You can make new collections by selecting New Collection here. I'm going to select Cards, and I'm going to go ahead and save. All right, now since that's done, I'm going to select both shapes. I'm going to go to Align, and I'm going to center horizontally. All right, and I just want to take a look and see. I think I want to move this up just a little. Okay, so it seems to be shaped how I want it. I'm going to make sure that I didn't move it all and that it's still centered horizontally. Then I'm going to go down. I'm going to make sure that those are both selected. I can see they're both in dark gray on the side. I'm going to weld these together. So now instead of two separate shapes, they've been welded into one piece. I am also going to come here and resize, because since we welded them together, it did change the height. So we're going to unlock, change our height back to 3. All right. Then what we're going to do is go over and duplicate this shape. Since we're going to work with both layers here together, I want to change that layer to white just so it's easier for me to see the difference in the two. Now, since I'm trying to create a border effect, I want to make this inside white layer 1/2 inch less in height and 1/2 inch less in width. So we're going to unlock, going to select, or excuse me, we're going to type 6.5 for the width and 2.5 for the height. Let's select those together. Going to align. We're going to center them, which moves everything to the middle. All right. Now let's go ahead and leave that selected, because now what I want to do is I want to go down and I want to slice. Now slicing this basically made 3 separate layers now, because there's the white layer that we had, and then that gray layer that was behind it has been split into 2. Let me show you. If we take the white away, we can see here with this outline that it's now the inside, which is the same shape as the white layer, and then what was the gray layer, any part that was outside of that white layer is now showing as a border. Okay, so let's select all that together just so we can move it out of the way. We're now going to go back to shapes because we're going to work on our front and back of the purse card. I'm going to select the square with rounded corners. Let's move that over. And then I'm also going to go back and select one of these Cricut access shapes, which is the square with the inverted corners. All right. So we're going to do the same with the measurements here. Let's go up here to the lock. Make this 7 inches. Make this 3 inches. The square with inverted corners is going to be our inside layer. So we're going to make that 1/2 inch less in width and height. All right, so now let's go ahead and upload our pattern. I'll be using the Gucci print pattern. We're going to go to upload. I already have this in my recent uploads, so I'm going to view all. Then I'm going to scroll down to find it. If you're interested to learn how to upload to Cricut Design Space, I'll leave the link for that video in the description. So I'm going to select my Gucci print pattern and my Gucci logo at the same time because I'm going to use that a little later. I'm going to add to canvas. Okay, let's move this down a little. Move our Gucci logo up here because we'll need that later. Okay, so for our Gucci pattern, what we're going to do is we're going to select our white layer for our flap here. We're going to bring it down to the pattern. And we're going to size the pattern just to look neat and pretty in our shape here. All right, I think that's perfect. So what I want to do, my Gucci print pattern is already selected. I want to go ahead and duplicate that. Okay, and I'm going to take that duplicated shape and just move it over out of the way. I'm going to come back down, select both my Gucci pattern and my white print here from our welded shape. I'm going to go to slice. Okay, now for slicing, it basically just separates everything. It's going to give you, it gave us here 1, 2, 3, 4 different shapes. What I like to do to find what I need to keep from the slice is I'll go ahead and use the eyeball on the side and I will select that and it will make each layer invisible. Okay, so I'll make them all invisible and then I'll make them all visible individually. So I'll start at the bottom. This one here looks like it's just the outline of our Gucci print. That's not what we want. I'm going to select and delete that. This one here looks similar to the last. It looks like it also includes the outline of our welded shape. We don't want to use that. So I'm going to select and delete. This one here actually looks good. This looks like it's our actual Gucci print that we want to use. So we're going to make that invisible again so that we can see the next one. And it looks like this is just the parts of the Gucci logo that were not covered by our shape. We don't need that. We're going to select and delete. Okay, so let's make what we're going to use visible. I want to go ahead and make this black. I see that it's kind of a grayish color and I want it to look a little darker and neater. Usually a print and cut image, you're not able to change the color. What we need to do is go up to Operation. We're going to change that from print and cut to just a basic cut. All right. It changes how it looks a little just because the system sees it as something that it's actually going to cut out and not something that it's going to print first. Now we can see that it's gray because this is the color here. I'm going to select it and make it black. All right. Then I'm going to go back to operation, scroll to the bottom, and turn it back to a standard print and cut. All right. So then we want to go ahead and just take the inside of our shape here. But I can see here that it looks like the border part is what's selected. So in order to change that, we're going to go up to Arrange, and we're going to click Send to Back because we want the border to now be behind the centerpiece so that we can grab the centerpiece. All right, I'm going to click on an empty space and then click back, and now we have the inside border. So we're going to change that. I want to change mine to a grayish color. This is what I'm going to use. Then we're going to bring that down to the Gucci print. We're going to select both. We're going to align centered. Okay. And then we're going to go over here. We're going to select attach. All right. So now what's going to happen is we're going to enter our gray sheet of paper here, and it's going to print out that Gucci logo, and then we're going to put it on our Cricut machine, and it's going to cut this shape. So now I also want to go ahead and change the color of my border. I'm going to make that black. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to go back over to shapes. I'm going to take another free image now. It's going to be the circle. Okay, we're going to take the circle and we're going to want to place it at the bottom of our shape in the middle. I want to size that to my liking here. Let's see. Yeah, I think that looks good. So I want to change that to black so that it matches my shape. I want to see how it's going to come out. All right, so I think that looks good. Just to be safe, I like to make sure things are aligned properly. We're going to center horizontally. All right, it did move just a tad bit. So I want to go ahead and keep these two selected. I can see they're in dark gray over here. And I want to go down and I'm going to weld these together. All right, so now instead of being two separate pieces, it's all going to cut out in one piece. Let's go ahead and take the pattern and move it up here so we can attach everything together in a moment, or excuse me, group everything together in a moment. Let's highlight it all and let's center horizontally. Actually, right now we can go ahead and center in the middle just to make sure everything's good. Everything's good here. Now let's go ahead and work with our logo. I'm actually going to make my logo silver. We need to go ahead and size it here so it fits in that circle. Oh, and it looks like it's behind the circle here. So let's go up to Arrange and Center Front. All right. So I think that's a good size. What I want to do now is just select that and align it so it's centered horizontally. All right, everything looks good. So since we have all that selected and we are done with the flap, let's go ahead and hit group. All right, so one flap done, two more to go. Okay, we're going to go back up to shapes. We are going to get the square, just the regular square. Okay, take that. Let's change it to green. Now the way I'm going to size it here, I want to make it maybe a little less than a third of what the image is here. So we're 3 inches wide. I'm sorry, we're 7 inches wide. So let's make it, it's already 2 inches, and I think that 2 inches is good. But I want to change the height. So we're going to unlock it so that we can pull it down here. Okay, let's go ahead and select this so we can center it horizontally. Okay, I think that looks good. So let's go ahead and select that green shape, and we're going to duplicate it. We're going to change it to red. We are going to keep it the same height, but we're going to change the width. So now I want the red stripe to be about a third of what the green stripe is. So let's change the width. Let's try 1.5. Oh, sorry. Let's try half. Now I think it should be a bit bigger. Let's try 1. Might even want it smaller than that. Yeah, I think let's try 0.75. Yeah, I think 0.75 looks good. Let's select and center it horizontally. Okay. Okay, so in order to move this up to the front, we're actually going to need to ungroup it. So we're going to go up to the top and ungroup. Let's go ahead and select our border. We're going to arrange center front. Then we're going to do our logo, arrange center front. Okay, so this is how we want our shape to look. I think that flap looks very nice. So let's go ahead and just select the red square. We're going to go down to the green square, hold down the shift button, and select it with our mouse or mouse pad. We're going to duplicate that. Okay. So the front of our card and the back of our card are actually going to be the same. So we're going to take this entire image, we're going to duplicate it. All right. Now we can go ahead and group them individually, the 3 of them. So we've got, oh, always go to undo if you make a mistake. We've got one more piece to do. So let's go ahead and rotate this top flap. You could use the curved arrow here to do that if you'd like. The best option for me is I like to go up to rotate and enter the degrees that I would like it to rotate. I'm going to enter 180 because I would like it to be upside down. So moving on to the inside of our card, let's go back over to shapes. We're going to go ahead and get our banner pennant again. I want to go ahead and rotate that 180 so it's upside down. Right, we're going to go ahead and unlock the dimensions. We're going to change the width to 7 inches. We're going to move it over here. And what I want to do is select the top 2 images and align to top. Now I can see here, align to top, looks like their points are meeting, but there's still some black showing on the side, which means that it's not the same curve. So we're going to select our gray image here. We're going to move it up a bit until we can see that the shape is a lot closer to the top one. It looks like it is here. I'm going to go ahead and center horizontally, and I'm going to center top. Now just to be safe, I'm also going to select this image and move it to the back so that I can see if any gray is showing. Since I don't have any gray showing, it means that that is lined up, because when I move that one to the back, there's no black showing. So I'm going to take this image here now, going to move it over. I'm going to go back to images. I'm going to select the square with the rounded corners and take this, unlock the dimensions, make the width 7, and it looks like the width of these two images is a little more than 6 inches. So I'm going to make it also 7 inches for the width. Let's go ahead and overlap. Okay, so it looks like we are all shaped up. I want to go ahead and make this light gray so that it matches the inside of the card. And since people usually like to write on a card, or you may be adding the writing to the card, you want to use a dark color pen, so it's better to have a lighter canvas for that instead of using black. So now we're all set. We have the inside of our card, we have the flap, we have the back, and we have the front. I hope that video was helpful for you. Check back for the next video and I'll show you how I make it on my Cricut Maker and put it together. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. God bless.